Welcome to the 7th Exhibition of Stupidity. I know this is long overdue, I know I got sidetracked twice consecutively for like 3 months. Very sorry. Before we go any further, what do you think of the new digs? Pretty cool, right? This does not change the format, it's just a new layout, and I hope you like it. I'm not losing the previous one though, and I'll go into that later on. To those who are not aware, this is where we take a collection of items, articles, objects, blah blah blah, and dissect them for everyone's amusement. And if there is something you feel stands out as the stupidest thing of all, please leave a comment below and it will go into this, my former exhibition area. See, I'm not leaving that out. So first we're going to a guest spot. This is a very important subject, so please take this seriously. Take it away, Mim.
Yes! Yeah, there guys, Mim here. So Megan has given me a slot to fill in this video, and I'm going to fill his slot with biscuits. And Jeremy Corbyn, but mostly biscuits. And by biscuits, I mean cookies, for all of you Americans out there, and your weird utilisation of the word biscuit to mean something that it's not. But anyway, Jeremy Corbyn was trying to prove that he's down with two women's and is totally a relatable fella by having a bit of a Ask Me Anything on Mumsnet, which is a forum where bored housewives go and bitch about being mothers and quote-unquote share mothering tips. And in this rather innocuous interview, I guess you could say, he was asked the staple British question, what is your favourite biscuit? Now this, ladies and gentlemen, is a very serious fucking question. It's silly, but it's serious. It's designed so that the politicians can be almost humanised. It makes them seem like, you know, you could relate to them. Previous prime ministers such as David Cameron and Gordon Brown had been asked the question, with David Cameron saying oatcakes with a bit of butter and cheese, and Gordon Brown just sort of saying anything with a bit of chocolate on it. So what was Jeremy Corbyn's answer? Because this is a whole big thing, right? If he'd have said Jaffa cakes, the whole fucking country would have gone up in arms about the is it a cake, is it a biscuit argument again. Lives would have been lost over the Jaffa cake discourse. And what Jeremy Corbyn said was, I'm totally anti-sugar on health grounds, so eat very few biscuits, but if forced to accept one, it's always a pleasure to have a shortbread. Bruv, you could have just cut that sentence down to one word. Jeremy Corbyn, what's your favourite biscuit? Shortbread. Done. We didn't need the anti-fucking sugar message, you jam-making cunt. Rather than actually appearing like a normal fucking human being and going, yeah, I like a biscuit every now and again, I prefer shortbread, you decided to lecture people on sugar, as if we don't fucking know that too much sugar is bad for us. What are you going to do next, Corbyn? Are you going to use your immense platform to remind people to breathe? The question wasn't, what is your current views on the obesity crisis and how are biscuits contributing to it? It was, what's your favourite biscuit? To be honest, the only time you ever need to add any more information to that answer that isn't about the biscuit is if you go, I'm gluten intolerant, so I can't really, have a lot of biscuits. Done. That's acceptable. That's totally fucking acceptable. And then, of course, people were quick to point out the fact that he makes jam, yet he's anti-sugar. Fuck's sake, Corbyn. It's reasons like this that make it so hard to vote for you, because you cannot get off your goddamn high horse and answer a simple question. And it makes you appear so far up your own arse that no one can actually relate to you. It was like the other week when you were sitting there saying, well, after work drinking should be banned because it's sexist. People sit there, cock their head and go, you fucking what, mate? It's almost as condescending as when you're an asthmatic like I am and you go to the doctors and they go, do you smoke? And you go, yeah. And they sort of give you this look and they sort of go, you know that's really bad for your health. And I'm sitting there going, motherfucker, I know. I didn't even need 3 years of biomedical science training to understand that smoking's bad for my fucking health. I have a disease which is probably going to cut my life fucking short anyway, so I might as well enjoy some cigarettes whilst I'm still breathing. Jesus Christ, in the 25 years that I've actually been alive, I've probably knocked on death's doors more times than I've actually bought a pack of fucking 20. So to summarise, Jeremy Corbyn, stop being a wanker. To answer the question of the day, my favourite biscuit is a digestive. Nice and simple, like Corbyn's answer should have been. I've been Mim Headroom, my social links are in the box down at the bottom. And as always, there will be more.
Oh, my comments are going to be filled with biscuits. Thank you, Mim, for that delightful contribution. Corbyn, you're a twat. Now, it has become a very common theme that vaginas pop up in some form. Most recent being a vagina hat. This time, we're going with vulva earrings. Fan-freaking-tastic, because nothing says I'm more proud of my vagina more than wearing it on your ears. I'm not sure who it was that posted this in a Skype group that I'm in, but I will put your channel below when I find out who it was. As if one piece of vagina isn't enough, I have another. The vagina keyring. It's glorious, because when you're looking for your keys, you should of course be fingering your keyring. And are they supposed to be that red? Are they filled with jam? I reckon they should hand these out in sex ed and teach boys how to eat a girl out when she's on her period. I'm sure they'll thoroughly enjoy sucking on that. I wonder how many more unique ways the vagina is going to make its way into the Exhibition of Stupidity. Oh well, moving on to the next piece, we're going to go with a segment. Twitter. Let's face it, people shitpost all the time. But when you see your favourite social justice warrior crop up with something delicious, it has to be addressed and summarily mocked. So first to Arthur Chu, who tweets out, "I'm happy to admit I can't satisfy my wife. Only a world without inequality can. And you, being a man from the most privileged demographic in America, would know this. That said, if you can't satisfy your wife because there's inequality in the world, perhaps you shouldn't have married your wife because she's not really married to you, she's married to the rest of the planet's oppression." Our next tweet comes courtesy of our very favourite social justice warrior and lover of Pokemon Go, Jonathan McIntosh, who took the time out of his very busy detective schedule to speak disparagingly of Christina Hoffsummer's work, only for Christina Hoffsummer to call him out on it and for him to go into full victim mode. I hope that detective agency thing works out for you. As we are already here, let's have a look at a few of Jonathan McIntosh's Pokemon Go tweets. So to the final two tweets in this segment before we delve back into the crazy. I've never once seen an MRA come for other men who are undermining male rape victims. Never. That is most likely because one of the key talking points within the men's rights movement is the fact that rape law does not protect or help men at all. In the UK, this is certainly true, and the person you are talking to is a victim of rape. And who did he get help from? MRAs. Who actually vilified and attacked him? Feminists. Just to finish your tweet, you use it against feminists because you are not pushing to help with this. Instead, you are pushing for supremacy. Your following tweet before you blocked my friend here. This faux concern y'all have is fucking disgusting and dripping in misogyny. If by misogyny you mean there being a huge disparity where women are protected and men are not, so men want that equality they are being denied, then yes, that is of course misogyny and not at all equality. You'll do anything to undermine our movement, based on the fact you are not trying to help obtain equality, but supremacy by retaining this inequality. I think you're doing the damage yourself. Congratulations. So our next two pieces are going to be BLM related. Let's face it, BLM are not going away anytime soon. They are being enabled by the media in the United States, and they are certainly doing their rounds in the United Kingdom. The first one is an Instagram post I saw which had me in hysterics. BLM protesters chainlock Oakland Police Officers Association and you-lock their necks to the doors, demanding half of the police budget go to Black Lives Matter. We have nothing to lose but our chains. We was kings. With a bicycle lock around our neck. So what, you upgraded from chains to bicycle locks? I love how thin they make your neck look. That is not going to get anyone to give up their budget. They are there to protect and serve. They are not going to give up half their budget so that they can only work half the time and have to get second jobs repairing buildings that your unruly mob of twats have destroyed, protesting the inequality and systemic oppression. The other piece of BLM-related nonsense comes courtesy of 9 Black Lives Matter protesters who stormed the runway at London Airport and laid down on it and climbed onto a tripod, blocking services essentially. Now, the police did ask them to move. When they refused, they were all charged with aggravated trespass. Basically means the maximum sentence is either 3 months in prison or a fine of £2,500. First-time offenders get £200 to £300. The judge gave them all conditional discharge, which basically means they will not be punished unless they commit another offence in that period of time that the judge has set. Now, they also had to pay court fees, which is fine. Basically, the judge was being lenient to get them out to deal with other cases. Or the judge believes that they themselves do not truly believe what they are protesting, which in this case was how climate change is racist and affects black people most, and is all the fault of white people to take responsibility for. When you look at these protesters, they all are very lucky to be where they are, and they in fact epitomise everything that's wrong with Black Lives Matter. Those that stand and protest and do all these things for Black Lives Matter are the rich people, are the wealthy people pushing this poorly constructed narrative built on a lie. These people are, do pull your flies up, girl. I want to see your dick from here. When the judge handed down that sentence, and this is the reason you're here, you chanted, "Go white privilege, go." Because of course it was your white privilege. It was the power in your skin that gets you out of this. It is not leniency on the judge's part, which judges are well within their right to do. They can be lenient, or they can be vicious, and they could have given you the maximum, the very maximum sentence. You belong here. Next we go to another guest spot, this time by Reading Ren. Take it away, Ren.
I guess you can't even have an opinion on Tumblr.com anymore without the social justice warriors bullying you.
Yes, that's probably true. And I'm so glad I skipped the first 45 seconds of your video.
No, stop. The following statements are opinions. My favourite colour is blue. I do not like peppers. You know, I kind of prefer cats to dogs.
I wonder where she's going with this.
These are bigoted statements that hurt oppressed groups. I don't think gay people should be allowed to get married.
People's opinion on marriage is their own opinion. It doesn't mean it's oppressing someone else.
Only women have vaginas.
A very true statement.
Being fat is just gross.
Well, if you're 400 pounds, you're not exactly that good looking.
Do you see the difference between these two groups of statements?
Yes. One is a straw man. A very, very poorly constructed and stupid straw man.
Opinions shouldn't actually hurt anybody, and having...
I would love to live in that dream world where opinions magically don't hurt anyone, but most of us kind of already live there. It's called not giving a fuck.
Your own opinions is fine and dandy. If your opinions do...
They're not opinions, dear. They're just opinions.
If you happen to hurt other people, then those people are also entitled to express their opinions that you're a bigot.
Because everything is sexist and everyone's a bigot.
Do you see how this works? But what about the freedom of speech, I hear some of you cry? Unfortunately for you, the freedom of speech does not exist exclusively for your benefit. Sure...
Yeah, you know what? Fuck it. I'm gonna cut you here. Because I can't handle your stupidity much longer. And to answer her point before she goes into needless shit, the freedom of speech exists so that everyone can talk. Not so that they can say what is harmful or oppressive and therefore needs not to be said. Because they don't have that right. And that's not how freedom of speech works. I do not know why I show myself so much stupidity. I really don't.
Thank you very much for that, Ren. Channel link below. She did this fantastic series I was a part of called 50 Shades in 50 Days. Torture yourself with that. Moving on. Hey, Llama. Want to contribute to my video? I've got a piece of stupid just for you.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I'll take a look.
Okay, then. I'll give you something simple. Here you go. Do you want to maybe just... Helping or hurting, Llama? Helping or hurting? As Skeptic Llama is busy laughing himself into a coma, I will tell you why this image was sent to me. There are people who would rather be stylish than practical. That's not to say you can't do both. But in this image, this is one of those people who would wear sunglasses indoors. See image on screen now. But in this image, as you can see, she's wearing a hat backwards and shielding her eyes from the sunlight. Is the outfit's appearance so important that you can't move a hat 180 degrees to shield your eyes from the sunlight better than your hand ever could? Or are you worried that your wig might get twisted too? Moving on from the utterly clueless celebrity world, let's instead go in the direction of gender supremacy. I mean equality. Let's face it, it's what we all want really, isn't it? So it's great when we see a sign like this that says gender neutral washroom. But hang on. What's this here? Everyone who identifies as a woman and or trans person may use this space. Time to put on the MRA, PUA attire. But what about the men's? This seems oddly exclusionary. Surely if you had to identify women and or trans people to begin with, you could have simply put a comma and men. Equality, nil. Supremacy, 1. Sticking with the gendered theme for a moment, we're going to go with Miley Cyrus taking a potshot at Supergirl for having gender attached to the title. Because men have been doing it for years with Iron Man, Spider-Man, Superman. There are others, but seriously, I don't think I need to explain any more. I think you using the fact the actress is a woman, not a little girl, as an excuse is a bit weak, especially as there is Wonder Woman, and having Superwoman as well would seem a bit, in the DC universe certainly, a bit difficult to work with. Not that it is a valid excuse, but I would argue that simply going against Supergirl, even though Supergirl encourages girls to get involved with superheroes in general, encourages them to become a part of the geek culture surrounding this stuff, it seems like you're stamping on your own feet here. Supergirl, if you know anything about the show or the comics, is actually a really cool character. There are plenty of really good female superheroes you should get behind, and not simply look for an excuse to criticize one because gender is in the title. Since you've been promoting changing the race of certain heroes already, or the gender in fact with Iron Man, surely you'd want to get behind Supergirl because Supergirl is quite a good TV show. Moving on, we'll go to our final guest spot, this time by Red Robot. Take it away, Red.
Hey guys! Guess what fell into my lap? No, it's not a sexy space kitten or something. No, it's something much less entertaining. I actually got accidentally delivered a newspaper. See, here's the thing. In space, technically, I'm way out of the delivery range of virtually every newsboy on the planet, so I'll take what I can get. So I got a case of the British Evening Standard. I have never read this damn thing before in my entire life. But hey, you know, the toilet was calling and I needed something to read, so what really stood out and did a pile driver on me was this. Rape prosecution is now even harder. Rape cases are hard to bring to court as women fear being vilified. While footballer Chet Evans was found not guilty, the judge let witnesses inform the jury about sexual encounters with the victim. To me, this puts back the prosecution of rape cases by decades. Catherine Bonds. Now, I actually mistook this for some sort of very brief news article. This is actually a letter to the editor, for God's sakes. Those of you who live in the UK may have some idea what the hell this was about. I had no fucking clue. So, Chet Evans here is a footballer, which apparently in the UK, your football players can be these little weedy fellows with giant ears. I hear that guy might be like a quarterback or something. I don't know. Maybe a running back. I don't know. Basically, the stuff little quick guys do. Anyway, apparently it went like this. Chet and some other cheese eater named McDonald, decided they would have themselves a girl sandwich.
Sandwich.
Basically, they picked up a chick who was, by her own admission, pretty darn inebriated. Now, they don't say whether or not those two guys were inebriated, but it's likely as not. Not out on the town and all that nonsense. So anyway, basically they do the horizontal monster mash or some variation thereof involving two dudes and a chick. Then later, at some point, she says she doesn't remember anything and claims she was raped. Now, these two dudes are like, no way, we didn't. And in the process of this, the McDonald fella gets acquitted for being at the same place at the same time, supposedly doing the same thing. But Evans, on the other hand, got screwed. He got sent up to the pokey. And on appeal, he brought in new evidence, which was something to the effect of two other dudes, I think maybe 2 or 3 other dudes, who had been with this lady before and had described pretty much the same sort of behavior. So in other words, this was her MO. This is her thing. Basically saying this is how she usually behaved. Apparently, she just does this sort of thing. And to be fair, some people do this. What our editor letter dropper here, Miss Bonds, Jane Bonds, no, kidding, is arguing that evidence of behavior is a bad thing. This isn't like saying, yeah, maybe she's a bit of a party girl. No, this was like, hey, this is basically corroborating evidence that her behavior was not abnormal. That seems perfectly valid to me, and the appeals court said so as well. Now, mind you, this guy did some time and has had, as I understand it, some considerable trouble getting a new job because his name is public. Hers was not supposed to be, which seems hardly fair. Again, vilification? Are you sure? If we're as generous as we can be and she just made a mistake and doesn't remember it and somebody else ran with the ball, well, that happens. But if it's something normal for her and she just kind of, on this occasion, decided to let it go, maybe because these two guys were famous or something, I don't know. I never heard of either of them, so I'm a filthy American. What the fuck would I know? But, that sometimes makes you wonder, was she looking for a payday? Or maybe she was just mistaken. It's hard to tell. We'll never know. And you know what? I don't care. Justice has nothing to do with motivations most of the time. It's just whether or not the shit happened that you claim happened. Motivations come to play into it in the sense that, is this something you normally do or is this some sort of weird exception? Because if this is the sort of shit you normally get yourself into, I hate to say it, honey, it might be perfectly valid for someone to say, yeah, this is the kind of thing she does. All I gotta say is this, fellas, don't pick up drunk chicks. Just saying, are we going to reach the point at which we have to bring a breathalyzer to the club? If you're too drunk to drive, you and I cannot go handling my stick shift.
Thank you to Red Robot for that contribution. Now we're going to go to our final piece of stupidity for this video episode, whichever you want to call it. Now I had the choice with Paul Feig blaming the original Ghostbusters for the reboot flopping, even though, let's face it, it was entirely down to the nostalgia and the fact it was poorly constructed and something we didn't want. We also had Nigeria President Muhammadu Buhari telling us his wife belongs to my kitchen. I even had something I was considering using with Muslims banning dogs in an area or limiting the presence, respecting the Muslim community within that area within this country, which is exactly what we're not going to do. Let's face it, if you're a community within a community, you yourselves have segregated yourselves from the wider community and trying to impose yourselves on them by banning them from being free. Sharia is not respected in this country. Go fuck yourselves. But instead I'm going to settle on this. Ohio mother's confession details how she smothered her 3 sons with blankets so they would never abuse women. It's not like you had the opportunity as a mother to raise your children to be good sons, good men, that would not abuse children. Instead, you, I don't know if this was ironically or not, abused them to death. Whether the police got the confession out of you by coercion or not, you committed a crime and deserve to spend the remainder of your years in prison. Because quite frankly, you are a murderer and you're using the bullshit narrative agenda of feminism to abuse men, and you are the perfect example of someone who has done so. Thank you all for listening.